This lesson is on estimating sums and differences. Now, this lesson is taking some vocabulary that you must need to know in order to know how to do this. So this is vocabulary you already know, but let's make sure that you do, okay? So first of all, estimate. When we see that word estimate, well, or if we see the word about, which we see in story problems a lot, it might say estimate something or about how many in a story problem. Whenever we see those keywords estimate, that means round, okay? So if you see estimate, then you need to round. Okay, that's a great thing to write down in your notebook so you make sure you have that in there and you have that in your notes. So estimate equals the same thing as round. It basically means, you know, all the rounding that we've been working on. So when you round, sometimes you're going to have to use your common sense and think which place value we should round to, and sometimes it's actually going to tell you. So make sure you pay attention to that. It might say round to the nearest thousands place, and then find your sum and difference. Now, it's really important that you remember what sum and difference are. So sums are, hopefully you can say it out loud before I even say it. Can you say it? Can you say it? Can you say it? Sums are the answer to addition problems, right? So we're going to find the answers to addition problems by rounding them. That's basically what estimate, sums, and differences mean. Differences, what does difference mean? What is it? What is it? What is it? See if you can say it out loud before me. Oh, yeah. Difference is the answer to a subtraction problem, right? So we have a subtraction problem, we have an addition problem, and we have round. And that basically is what estimate, sums, and differences mean, okay? So that's the introduction. Now let's get into the work. All right, so I'm going to erase this part. Hopefully you guys got that on your notebooks. And now we're going to try it out in practice. So the first problem we're going to do is 5,481 plus 2,326, okay? So the reason why we're learning how to do this is because we're eventually going to be actually adding these together and adding larger numbers together. However, it's really helpful if you can do that in your head first, so you can get an estimate on what that answer is. So when you do the problem, you can look at it and say, does my answer make sense? So that's why we're doing this, okay? So we're going to round this to the nearest hundreds place, okay? Because that's what it just says in my directions in my book. So we're going to round this to the nearest hundreds. So I'm going to underline that hundreds place to make sure that I read my directions and I know what I'm doing and I know what I'm rounding, okay? Always underlining those numbers so you know what you're doing. And then we're going to look behind and say 5 or more, raise the score, 4 or less, let it rest, okay? And if we look at this, our 8 is going to bring that up to a 5. So my answer, and I'm not going to forget that 5,000. Don't you drop that 5,000 away, or it just goes to poof. So make sure you get that 5,000 in there. And we have 5,500 plus 5 or more, raise the score, 4 or less, let it rest. It looks like it's going to let it rest. So we have 2,300, and we add those together to get 7,800. Okay, we have the 8, the 7, the 0, and the 0. And there we go. That is our answer. Okay, so the next one is we're going to do a subtraction problem and find the difference. So let's try this one in your books. In your notebooks, not your workbooks, but your notebooks. Writing notes. So we have 7,000, and this time we have a dollar sign, okay? In some of your problems in your assignment today, you are going to be using dollar signs. Please make sure your answers have dollar signs as well. If your problems have a dollar sign, your answer has a dollar sign. That's the way it works, okay? So we have 7,542 And we're going to subtract this time. And we have 3,225. And my directions again say to round to the hundreds place. So I'm going to underline that hundreds place. Okay. And 5 or more, raise the score. 4 or less, let it rest. We have 7,500 or 7,500. And we have, this is going to let it rest because there's a 2 there. So we have 3,200. And now we're going to subtract. And we still have our dollars hanging out here. Oops, I forgot to put my dollar sign over here. And when we subtract, we have 0 and a 0. And 5 minus 2 is 3. And 7 minus 3 is 4. And I'm not going to forget my dollar sign. So the answer is 4,300. Okay. Now, I'm going to give you guys a couple of problems to try. And what I would like you to do is write the problems down in your notebook and try them without me by pressing pause on the video. And then you're going to unpause the video and see if you got them right. Okay. So I'm going to pause my video and write them on the board. Okay. I have written these on the board. You can find these in your workbook on page number 80. Okay, so if you go to 80 in your workbook, you can pause the video. You can do all these problems. It tells you what to round it by the problem. And then what it asks you to do is show what you round it to underneath and then what it equals, okay? Now, if you don't like to draw your problems out from left to right, if you'd rather do it up and down like our first examples, you're welcome to do it like that. So pause the video, take some time, do problems 1 through 4 on your own. Then you can hit the video and then watch, because right now I'm going to go through each problem and make sure you got them right, okay? But it's really important for you guys to try this on your own first, so you make sure that you know what you're doing. Let's say you're still confused and you're not really ready to do it on your own. If that's the case, then maybe watch the first example and do it with me, kind of like we do it in class. I do, we do, you do, and then you can go ahead, okay? So here we go. We're rounding this in the hundreds place, so I'm going to underline my hundreds place, okay? And this is going to be, that 5 makes it go higher, so this is going to be 1,500 plus, we're going to look back, and that's going to be 300. Okay, so we have 1,500 plus 300, and we get 1,800. And the way I got that so fast was I saw that I had 2 zeros, so there's my 2 zeros. 5 plus 3 is 8, and then I have my 1,000 there, okay? Next one, we're going to, again, round to the nearest hundreds, okay? So I have, I'm going to underline my hundreds, underline my hundreds. Ooh, this time I have a number in the thousands place. Oh, I did last time too. Yeah, both of these I have a number in the thousands place and one in the hundreds place. So here we go. This is going to make this go up because it's greater than 5. So I have 2,900, and then I'm going to add 400. And when I do that, ooh, I'm going to have to carry. So I might want to do this one and write it vertically over here. I'm going to do that just because I think that that's easier for you guys to visualize. So we're going to add 2,900 plus 400, 0, 0. A 9 and a 4 is 13. So I put my 3 down here and carry my 1, and then I have 3,300 is my answer. Okay. All right. Next. Ooh, I'm going to write in a different color. That might help be able to see. We're getting a lot of black ink on this board now. So now we have our tens place. Ooh, a tens place. That's interesting. So here we go. We're going to underline that 4 because that's in the tens place. We're going to underline the 2 because that's in the tens place. And when we round, we get 2,750 minus 1,500. Oh, and that's going to bring that 2 up because it's a 9. So we have 30. 1,530. And again, this is a subtraction problem. So I think I'm going to bring it over here. Erase that one. And we're going to go 2,750 minus 1,530. Making sure that everything's lined up. That 5 could actually go under the 7 a little bit better. There we go. And now we're going to subtract, okay? Time to subtract. So we have 0 minus 0 is 0. 5 minus 3 is 2. 7 minus 5 is 7. And 2 minus 1 is 1. And we have 1,720 as our estimation. 1,720. Okay? All right. And the last, ooh, and Miss Howe! You almost forgot. Don't ever forget your dollar signs. There were dollar signs in that problem, so I'm going to, luckily I double checked my work. I kind of eyed up at that and realized, oop, there's dollar signs. Make sure to get those in. Okay, so make sure you get your dollar signs in. Now, last one. We're rounding in the thousands place. So my marker is starting to dry out on me. Let's get a new one. The thousands place, we have 48,000. Well, remember, when we say thousands, we mean 1,000. So I'm going to underline that 8. And then we have our 7,000 there. So I look back. We're subtracting again. We're finding out what the difference is. So we have 48,000 minus, we're going to look back here. That's going to keep us the same. 7,000. So 48,000 minus 7,000 is going to be 41,000 because I know that 8 minus 7 is 1, right? And I have my 40 and I got my 3 zeros, and so it is 41,000. I'm going to double check my work. Make sure that all makes sense. Yep, that makes sense, and that makes sense. And when I subtract, that's what I get. All right, and that is your lesson on estimating sums and differences. How out?